Hello, so I got two trade recaps, both on I think the 4th of June, one during New York session and another during the Asia session for that night, which was more the 5th where I live. So for New York, it was more bullish on price. I believe at the time of open, we'd already taken this main sell side, but of course you had these highs up here, which were clear and obvious draw, and you had a good chance to inverse this 4-hour fair value gap. So when it came to the session, what you had is you had a strong push up, yeah, and essentially, I believe I took a 5-minute long setup a bit after 10 a.m. Yep, right here. So essentially, what we took some sort of form of buy side liquidity, took some sort of liquidity with delivering that manipulation leg in the 10 a.m. macro. We had a high to target for, and eventually what we did get this 5-minute inverse, which formed a bit of an order block in the middle of it as well. I took the long here, try and target at least these highs, or maybe even a bit higher. Stop was maybe a bit below here. And what I did do is, because I didn't like how it was such a slow breakover, the inverse fair value gap, I think once price hit this, high, I put my stop to break even, which it hit. PA hit my stop, and then eventually we did trade up into at least this high here, but at this point I think I had already turned off my computer. I was done for the session. But yeah, eventually I do believe we go up, we slowly generate, and then a bit after midday, we eventually make this move higher and take those highs. But yeah, for New York, took a long here. This 5-minute inverse was a bit more bullish on the day. I believe at this point you did have a 4-hour inverse as well. So it did count for some sort of long setup, but essentially we took these lows. The 1 minute, if you were entirely bearish, you could have taken maybe a 1 minute inverse here, put your stop on these highs, put your stop to these highs, and you're targeting, I believe this was London low in this case here. So some sort of seek and destroy profile for that session. But of course, I was more bullish, so I waited for the bullish setup. Next good trade I took was in Asia session of that same day, just after this one. So what we had, and essentially what we had here is we had these relative equal highs, lows here in daily fair value gap. So I was bearish for this open. You'd already taken sell side here, and what you did do is you had this 1 hour inverse fair value gap. So PA was already bearish on the higher time frame, on the hourly at least, so it made some sort of sense to look lower. So essentially, once I did come into the session, I just needed some sort of manipulation set up for price to go lower again. So I was looking for some sort of hourly high to be swept somewhere. Hourly high to be swept before price may wanted to make that move down lower. In this case here, what we did get is that we kind of generated some liquidity here, and what we did do is we took this high, came into 1 hour fair value gap, came into the inverse fair value gap, took an hourly high, and we had this nice little 5-minute inverse here, 5-minute fair value that looked to be run through here. And the other thing too is we kind of generated liquidity here. So when this confirmed, I pretty much took a short here. Took a short, put my stop to this last 5-minute high, and I targeted the low that had been created earlier in the session. So yeah, this was a nice trade. It's a good entry. Eventually it did chop a bit, but eventually did make that move down, and shows how strong and reactive it. That was almost a good long setup too, off those lows. But yeah, that was a nice little trade. 5-minute inverse, took hourly sell side, delivered in the inverse fair value gap, and there was a 1 hour bearish fair value gap there as well. Manipulation, displacement through an inverse fair value gap. You lost the 20 SMA, and PA kind of did this main displacement move during the 9 p.m. macro. But yeah, that was a nice trade. Didn't do much else for this Asia session though. Didn't do much at all. PA kind of just comes up here, and it pretty much chops a bit. But yeah, that was a nice little trade. We had a bearish draw overall, and there was some sort of low-hanging fruit target to aim for. So yeah, that was Asia, and of course 2 trades from Asia and from New York as well. New York was a break even. Asia was a nice little win.